Good morning, Back to Basics. This is Dana, Ms. Dangerous, and I'm your vlogger today. So this week we are talking about, it's Body Week. The questions are about, do we treat people, or do we find people treating us differently post-op than they did pre-op, and then how does that make us feel, and then do we ourselves then treat other people differently? So I am, almost 2 years out. So in June I'll be 2 years out. So I'm 22 months now, and I'm at goal. I've been at goal for about 6 months. Do I find other people treating me differently? Yes, they do. And I think, but I do think that sometimes it's a mix because I am probably reacting to them differently. I find that I am probably more outgoing to strangers now than I used to be. And, it's hard to tell sometimes if people are reacting to me differently because, I initiated something and am more confident, and then they reflect it back. And so I think sometimes that is true. So, if I'm out and I start the conversation, or, I engage, then, I can say, yeah, I think people are treating me different, but that may be just because I was different. But if I take all of those times out of the, conversation, yes, I still think people treat me differently. I have more people approach me and talk to me before I ever talk to them. I have people, like when I'm shopping, and I have people in the dressing rooms, or sales ladies commenting to me about, they talk to me. They never used to talk. One, I probably didn't, limited time in the dressing room, but people don't go, wow, that looks great on you, or make comments about your body typically in normal, when you're overweight, and I've had several people tell me, oh, you're tall and slender, or something like that, which is strange. Probably the most interesting thing is people who know me, and people at work. People at work, I feel like, treat me differently. Some people at work. People that I have known and maybe been on projects. They're not like my immediate coworkers, but they're in other departments, and we've been on projects before, or things like that. People, people who know my work, and know that am good at something, but I feel like those people have more respect for me now. It's like I think I find that I think people listen to me more now and heed my my input. Now, again, I've been trying to work a lot on the past year or 2 years about kind of leadership development and how I deliver messages and things like that. So that could be part of it, where I have changed the delivery of a message. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like people like people respect me more, give me more respect at work. Definitely, I see a difference. It's just really hard for me to tell how much is purely because of my body and their reaction to the fact that I'm no longer obese, versus did I change something in the way that I'm engaging with other people. And is that because of my weight, or is it because that I've have been working on certain kinds of behaviors. So it's hard to know. As far as how I treat other people, let's say, let me back up and say how other people, like family members and loved ones, treat me. No, I don't think there's a difference. My relationship with my husband, I would say, has changed in a different way the past year, and I think that is related. It is related to this journey. I think that when I started this, I told him that this wasn't about him, and he said, I love you now. You don't have to lose weight for me. And I said, this isn't for you, it's for me. As I've changed into a different person, a more active person, a more adventurous person, things that I've tried to do all along the way is to really let him know how important he is to me. So I've changed the way that I respond to my husband, and he has changed the way he responds to me, I believe. He has become more demonstrative to me. We always held hands and kissed and things like that in public, etc. But now I can sit on his lap, and I do sometimes. And I think the way that we respond to each other and the way we treat each other has changed some, verbally and physically. So other than that, other people close in my life, I don't feel like they treat me differently. The way I treat other people, I don't think the way I treat people has changed. Whether they are overweight or not, except that like I said, this is an issue that I'm have been trying to work on for the past couple of years, as far as how I approach messaging to people and my communication with others. So I don't think that has to do with my weight loss. I want to specifically talk about my reactions when I see overweight or obese folks. I don't think I treat them differently, but I notice them, I think, in a different way than I ever did before. And sometimes I think to myself, I mean, I do judge. I've always been, even if you're overweight, you need to wear clean clothes, mended clothes. You need to have, a clean body and that sort of stuff. And so I think when I see folks that aren't, whether that is obese or whether they're not obese, I have a reaction to that, and I just kind of go, ugh. I try not to exhibit the behaviors. Usually they're people out and about, but I watch and I notice, and to be 100% honest, I make judgment in my head. It's like, man, go take a bath or throw that T-shirt away or whatever it is. What I feel is that when I'm noticing obese folks now, I think if they only knew what I know. I wonder if they know that there could be an out. I wonder if they have an out. Here was an interesting situation. So last weekend, my husband and I went to the county fair, and we hadn't done this in years and years, and we decided we were going to ride lots of rides, and we did. And we got on this one ride, and you had to kind of get up on it, and had this harness that came up over the top of you. And there was one lady that came in, and this was like a pod, and you can kind of face and see everybody else getting on the ride. They all kind of face to the inside of this kind of circular shape. You had to kind of hoist yourself up over this kind of pommel thing, and then had this harness that came around the top. So there was this lady that came out, and she had a guy with her, I'm assuming her husband, whatever. She was having trouble getting up onto the ride. And he had to get down and kind of lift around her ankles and kind of hoist her up on it. And I found, it's like, I don't want to watch this. you know, she's like almost literally right across from me, but it was kind of like, and lots of people are looking, and I was like, I don't want to watch this. And then it came time to put the harness down, right? And it came down, and the the little attendant guy comes around, and he's trying to push the harness down because it needs to click, which he had to push it down and make it click on my husband. But for her, it wouldn't click, and she had to get off the ride. And I tried not to watch that when it was happening because there was a lot of young kids around, and believe me, everybody's looking. And I just kind of looked away because I was like, I am mortified for her. I am mortified for her. And then she had to get off, and she's laughing and stuff, but I know her heart had to have been hurting. And, you know, I just wanted to go aside with her and say, have you ever thought about weight loss surgery? Because your life could be so different. My life is so different now, and yours could be different too if it was an option for you. So, I don't know. Probably. So, do I think I'm? You know, I do think I'm processing differently in my head. Does that processing in my head make me behave differently towards overweight, obese folks? I hope not. I hope that there is no pity in my face. You know, did I pity that woman? Yeah, I did. I don't pity every one person. That's not my first reaction. I would say sympathy maybe is my reaction. And just wishing that everybody knew this difference that's possible. So I think I've been a little rambly today. Not sure. I will continue to think about this. These topics always get me thinking, and I continue to do that over the course of the week. I hope you guys will think about this too. And I'm going to pay attention to how I treat others, and how people treat me over the next few days. I'm traveling, so I'm out of my normal place. So this is a great experiment, and to see how people treat me. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you later. Check in the other vloggers on Back to Basics this week. Bye bye.